Hello, I'm Kazuya Inarida, host of Startup Now. Today I'm in the SusHi Tokyo 2026 and I'm the media partner of this conference. So let's dive into the venue. Here we go. Now I'm waiting for the Sanae Takaichi, the Prime Minister of Japan. And there are many people super over the capacity. I can't see the end of the row.
皆様こんにちは。内閣総理大臣の高市早苗でございます。スタートアップについては日本で生み出される優れた研究成果を実用化していく、主要な担い手として大きく期待をしております。スタートアップ育成5カ年計画をさらに強化する、先端技術の社会実装を加速させてまいります。第一の柱はスタートアップのスケールアップです。東京はグローバルなエコシステムのゲートウェイとなってくれることでしょう。第2の柱がディープテックスタートアップの支援です。スタートアップの研究開発支援に加えて各省庁がそれぞれの業務でスタートアップの技術を試験導入する仕組みを創設するということで政府調達へのハードルをさらに引き下げてまいります。第3の柱が地域のスタートアップの創出育成です。地域の大学や高専発の技術を活用したスタートアップの創出や育成を後押しする取り組みを強化、いたします。こうした政府の取り組みと寿司テック東京で生み出される新たなアクションとが相乗効果を発揮することにより日本のスタートアップエコシステムがこれまで以上に発展しそして日本の経済成長ひいては世界各地の課題解決にさらに貢献していくことを期待しております。
国と都が連携しましてさらにスタートアップを盛り立ててまいりましょう。そして産業経済を活性化してまいりましょう。
Sanae Takaichi's session was over, and she is very expert for the startup and especially the area of the deep tech. So I thought that I need to more interview to the deep tech founders, and from now on, there is the session of Miss Namba, the DeNA founder, and Guido, who is the partner of the Andreessen Horowitz. So let's dive into this session.
I'm one of the investors. So the way we're organized is we have different funds investing in different specialties. I'm on the infrastructure team. So we invest in mostly software, some hardware, and it's typically things that are not directly end user facing. So it's something like a database or a model or a robot, which is typically used by people to build other technology. And then we have the applications team that make the B2B apps and the B2C apps.
So what made you to move to the investment side from doer side?
Started companies myself, which was super interesting. I've been an executive at a large company, which was super interesting. And I always wanted to try venture capital. And my hope is that with my experiences with startups and with large companies, I can help the next generation of entrepreneurs make different mistakes from the mistakes that I made. We're in the middle of this AI revolution, one of these huge technology cycles, super cycles, as we like to call them. And these cycles, they're incredibly exciting. I love technology. I'm having the time of my life at the moment. There's so much new good technology to play with, to understand. If I look back, right, I think the last time we had one of these technology super cycles, that was during the .com boom, the internet revolution.
1998?
98, 99, exactly. I was a PhD student at Stanford. Everybody was starting companies. There were two friends of mine. They started a company. They called it Google.
OpenAI, those frontier model players, foundation model players, their version, like thousands of startups die. It's not a safe place for startups. We are afraid of foundation model players coming into the space. What's your view of that?
Yes, so first of all, I agree, right? Every time the models get better, some startups that build clever infrastructure around the old generation, they're no longer needed because the model can do it directly.
Yeah,
Right?
it's a little bit different than 1990s.
I'm not sure, because look, if you look back in 1990, every time Microsoft had a new version of Windows, some startups would go out of business. You were making a web browser, that's part of the operating system now, right? So I think these platform companies, adding features and in the process knocking out startups, that's not a new thing. We've had that before. And the other important thing I think to see is the big guys don't always win.
Let's go for the global market. For that, I think we need global money. So if you are looking for some LPs, it's less interesting, but if you are looking for startups, if you come in to make serious investment in startups here, I would welcome so much.
To be very clear, I'm looking for startups here.
Great.
Very seriously. So very seriously, we invest internationally, right? If we see an interesting company and we think this company has a lot of potential, we're very comfortable investing in Japan. We recently invested in Japan.
Shizuku, right?
Shizuku, which was announced.
We also invested DeNA.
Yes, fantastic. Great to be invested together. I'm very excited about the company, and it's AI VTuber space. Is that a space?
So very Japanese, unique.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
There's actually a few reasons why I'm optimistic about startups from Japan. One is, traditionally, I think language has been a barrier, right? And translation is getting very, very good, right? So that barrier is getting less and less. Right? So it makes it easier to do business. It makes it easier for us to understand the company, but also makes it easier for a Japanese company to expand internationally.
Totally.
I think Japan is currently very hip in the United States. People love to come here for tourism. That's a good thing, right? I hope it's not too many tourists, but it's people liking the country. I think is always a good thing. I think there's some opportunities around, manufacturing. The United States is traditionally not very strong in manufacturing. China is very strong, but there's a lot of geopolitical tension. And so there's a lot, I think, of interest in seeing if there's opportunities in Japan.
So what's the strength of Japan besides Shizuku type,
I think if I was an entrepreneur here, I wouldn't worry about that. Find an area that really interests you. Understand what the rest of the world is doing. I think today, if you're going for a very regional market, it's a little bit different. But I'm on the infrastructure side, so there are not many regional markets, right? Usually the world is pretty flat. You probably have to, from the very beginning, understand what's happening around the world. You have to, say if you're in research, and you go to the conferences, so you have a good idea of what's happening everywhere. And find something that you understand well, where you have a passion, and go aggressively. I think it's much more important that you find something that you really want to pursue.
What is the most important criteria for you to make the decision?
Look, I think it's mostly about great entrepreneurs, right? I mean, when we invest in a company, honestly, we invest first in the people, right? So if we see a team where we say, this team is amazing, they're incredibly smart, they understand the market really well, right? We really like working with them. That's the single most important thing, right? And we're very loyal to our entrepreneurs. I think the way how we look at venture capital is we're a service provider for entrepreneurs, right? They're the boss, and we work for them to make the company successful, right? And so that's the number one thing. I think the second thing is, make sure you're in a market that has potential, right? Right now with AI, right, we have these incredibly quickly growing markets. We're seeing some markets where the companies grow by about a factor of 10 from one year to the next, right? Even larger companies. So if you have such a market, it's so much easier to build a startup there.
Let's not worry about competitors. Worry about the growth of the market.
Exactly. Everything's growing so quickly. If the competitor grows quickly, you don't care.
Doesn't matter.
Right. So go for a fast-growing market, build a great team, find something that you have a passion for, and I think good things will happen.
Wow, yeah, great advice. Thank you. And any last message for the audience?
If you have started a great company, please come and talk to us.
Well, next time maybe we should, plan a meetup, between you guys and Japanese startups.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
It's great. We're doing a lot of these. I mean, I'm spending a good amount of my time just like San Francisco at the moment is crazy. The amount of AI meetups there are and hackathons. There's so much activity.
Yeah.
Again, I love technology. For me, this is one of the most fun times of my life here. This is just amazing.
Thank you. Guido ありがとう。
そうです。ありがとうございました。
これ本当は日本語とっても上手なんですよ。
もう全然ありません。
ありがとうございます。じゃあ私たち頑張ってありがとうございます。握手。
The session of Ms. Namba and Guido was finished. How was that? I noticed that how to see the startup ecosystem from the partner of Understand Forward, so who is the Guido. Yeah, that was amazing. And Ms. Number said that Understand Forward will launch the Japan's office. Yeah, this is just a rumor, so I don't know which is the correct or not. But I hope that it will be real. And then there is the global standards gathering party and hackathon will be held. So I want to collaborate with Understand Forward as a media. So I will expand this media much more. This is the second day of SusHi Tokyo. And today I will listen the session, the title Tokyo to Silicon Valley Inside the VC Decision. The one with the speaker is the Freelen from Sozo Ventures, and actually I will interview him. So let's get into this session together.
Describe in the traits or in specific observations the best founder that you've worked with or observed.
They are the Robinhood, the Coinbase, the Wealthfront of Canada, which a lot of people would consider to be too small of a market. And they built now what is valued at a $10 billion business that will eventually IPO at in excess of that. And so I think they've proven a lot of people wrong in terms of what you can build in one market specifically, which there's a lot of, I think, further conversation to be had about that. But in terms of traits that make Mike special, I've actually known Mike a really long time. We both kind of grew up together in Toronto. He is one of the best storytellers I have ever met.
Japanese LP, like corporate LP investor, has huge interest in Silicon Valley, and they notice the trend of the SaaS, like including like Zoom, Palantir, like also the fintech trend, early 2000 and 2010. So they got the right industry, they got the right LP investors, and also they focus on their track for 10 years and then they success. So I think this is a very typical story in VC firms, and it happens in many other VC firms also in our portfolio companies. So we have portfolios in Sequoia and the recent General Catalyst, Clayton Perkins. I would say, and many of these companies has multiple generations in terms of founders, because some of them have more than like 30 years, 40 years, 50 years history, so they need new generation to lead the company. But we just care about in each generation, do they make the right decision in like right industry or startups? Yeah.
My follow-up back at you every time will be, which 1% of the market are you going to win?
Ooh, I like that.
50% of the time. Because if you can't tell me which 1%, I'm going to assume that you can't even win that.
The session was finished, and that was so interesting. All of the capitalists were from overseas, but they truly understand what Japanese company is. So that was fantastic, and there is a chance to Japanese company to go global. Rob is the moderator, so I want to ask him his insight more. So I will ask him in the long interview. but that is not live streaming, so I will edit it a little. So please subscribe to my channel Startup Now. So let me introduce next contents, and I will quick interview to the person who is the founder of YStory. YStory is the Japanese startup and has announced that they closed the pre-series A fundraising round on the stage in SusHi. So I will go to the booth of YStory and ask the founders, so what is the purpose this round, or what's the business they run. So let's get into the interview. So finally I arrived at the booth of YStory, and she is Janet. Could you introduce by yourself a bit?
Hi everyone, my name is Janet. I'm from YStory. I'm the CEO of YStory.
And what do you do?
We're running a startup for women health. You know, menopause is like overtook problem, and a lot of people quit their job because of menopause. So we're providing digital health for the women over 35 years old, and we're providing the menopause personalized healthcare plan for those women.
Thank you. And I heard that you are from China.
Yeah.
And but you launched this company as a Japanese startup, and strongly connected with the Japanese university also. So why you decide to launch your company in Japan, to collaborate with the university in Japan?
Yes, I came to Japan as a student. I studied in the Kyoto University. After that, I live in Japan. I have some working experiences for women health project, and I found that in Japan a lot of people quit their job because of the menopause issue, and also we're seeing some like product in this market. It's only general product like some supplement or the hormone therapy, but I think because we have 200 and 300 type of different kind of symptoms, so I think providing the menopause data for the women is more value. So we decided to leveraging the data and the evidence to providing the solution.
So interesting. And in this SusHi conference, you announced that big good news on the stage. So tell me more about this announcement.
Yes, I'm very glad to announce that we have a pre-A fundraising just
Congratulations.
yesterday. Yeah, for this event, and we got investment from Kyoto University, the University ICAP, and also Asuka Pharmaceutical, which is the famous women health pharmaceutical in Japan market, and also some global investor like NextBlue and very famous startup VC like Henry. And we decided to leveraging this money to invest in our next growth stage. We will leveraging the money to provide B2B solutions to help the enterprise users to take care of their employee and make their productivity better. And also not only for the B2B, we also want to expand our usage growth for the B2C side. This year, I'm very glad to say that we will planning to enter the global market.
Oh.
So it's not just in Japan. We're also going to the overseas market like US, UK, Australia, and also Asia market. So we have a better ambitions for this one. And not only for this part, because we have a lot of data here in our platform, I'd like to say that we're the #1 app in Japan market for the menopause health. So we would like to leverage in the data for corporate projects. For example, leveraging the data with pharmaceutical company or consumer makers or some clinics, organizations to helping the woman to provide more value and more better product for this menopause issue.
Amazing. I'm rooting for you so much. Oshimai desu.
Okay.
Okay. I will share the next session. The title is What are the criteria for cities chosen by global capital in the AI era?
A lot of Japanese large corporations have also CVC funds. Some of them are focused on more like financial return, and some of them focus on strategic return. But a lot of CVC funds kind of struggle chasing those returns. Do you have any advice or insights on how to do chase those returns or prioritize financial returns more?
We definitely prioritize financial returns first. We don't invest in what we don't know, so obviously the categories that we look at align with our business, or they're at least on the periphery. but we do invest in things that, we're not necessarily, supporting inside, TR. So we do learn from other startups and other categories, but again, it's at least on the periphery of what we know. I think if you're not focused on financial returns when you're making an investment, it's the wrong approach, because you need to have companies that understand where they're going to market, what the product market fit looks like, and how they're going to make money. Now, we don't invest in pre-seed. I know you guys do, but even then, I think you're still looking at category and where it's going to fit eventually, right? There are certainly investors that just invest in founders and they let them go decide what they're going to develop. That's not us. We definitely look for, first and foremost, financial returns, and next is what category, what market, how big is that market, and is the solution going to, fit?
What is the one sign that would tell you that Tokyo has made it as a city where global talent, global capital choose to be?
So my answer is like numbers matter. So I would like to see 5,000 technology startups in Japan and 50 unicorns. So it's an attainable goal, if especially you say financial services, mobility, robotics. Again, there is everything here. I would say it's a little bit, people are too square. They are very efficient, but for entrepreneurship, you have to be able to cut corners, make decisions faster. So I think a little bit of culture change is also necessary, but I like sometimes competition. Singapore has 4,000 technology startups and close to 40 unicorns. And I believe that Japan has more muscle power, more technical power, more money. So we need a little bit of cultural change to that, entrepreneurship is great, and execution of quick decisions, it could lead to better results. So I would say within the next 5 years, we will produce at least 20 unicorn. But similar to the dinosaur out there, we need to do it faster so we don't become dinosaurs.
The session was finished. How was it? And I understood that every VCs expect Japan to produce much more unicorn startups. We have to collaborate with each other, startups to go global or to be the unicorn company. And also, I'm so interested in the topic about which is much more important than strategic return or the financial return for CVCs. So this is often discussed in Japan, CVC. I want to know more about this topic, so I will interview to Rob from Sozo Ventures. Please keep watching my channel. Now I came to TIB, Tokyo Innovation Base, and to attend the official side event. There is the investor night hosted by FoundersNation. There are so many global investors coming to the TIB, but unfortunately I haven't received the permission to show the participants. So instead of this, I will interview to the host. So let me introduce the Nagura-san, the host of this event. Please introduce yourself a bit.
Okay, I'm Masaru Nagura, a co-founder and CEO of FoundersNation. FoundersNation is a global accelerator that supports startups to be scale up, because there are many Japanese startups founded in last few years, but none of them grown globally and being scale up. So that's why our mission is to support startups to be scale up, having global revenue and having more large scale business globally.
Your business is strongly needed in Japan, I believe that. This is my first time to see the huge number of the global investors in TIB. How did you gather?
To attract global investors, we did pretty much everything what we could do. At first, we team up with good partners that has a global investor network, including Endeavor and CAC, and we use those networks to ask investors to come for the SusHi Tech and join this investor night. We also collaborated with SusHi Tech. We contacted all the investors having some presence in SusHi Tech. Then they came. So we did many things to attract those investors.
Mm-hmm. And the last reader, please send a message who want to get into Japanese startup ecosystem. So especially the global investors or global founders.
All right, three things. Firstly, Japanese ecosystem is changing. Prime Minister Kishida announced the startup 5 years plan a few years ago, and the Japanese ecosystem is really changing, and it's getting to be an investor and startup friendly ecosystem more than ever. So now it is changing right now. Secondly, we have great startups with great technology, but they need the help of the global investors and global talent. So please join supporting Japanese startups who has a good technology, but not yet have their presence in global market. Thirdly, Japan can be a great landing point for your portfolio company and your investment scheme, because we have good access to Asian market that is definitely growing market over the world.
Did you prepare this message all?
No.
You strongly believe that the Japanese potential?
Yes, definitely. I am feeling that potential. At the same time, we need to accelerate how the Japanese startups can be a scale up. So that's why I founded FoundersNation to really make the real change of the Japanese startup ecosystem.
So let's connect with Nagura-san and spread the Japanese startups to the world together.
Thank you. Please come and join us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is the end of this movie. How was that? This is my first time to report in English of the conference. I want to say thank you to the SusHi Tech giving me such a wonderful chance to report. And usually I interview to the founders just after fundraising. But most of the content is in Japanese, but I will try some of the English contents like this. So please watch my content and subscribe on YouTube. Thank you for watching such a long video. See you again.